Hello again. Welcome to Summit VB Fan. I'm your host, Jeremy Cleveland, and I will once again be your guide on this feed throughout the 2026 Summit League volleyball season. Well, the countdown to first serve on August the 28th continues today with our eighth and final team preview, this time around the Golden Eagles of Oral Roberts. Well, it was a tough year in Tulsa. They went 3-25 a season ago, 1-15 in Summit League action. They're led by second-year head coach Nolan Albrecht. It is his third season overall as a Division I women's coach. He has previous experience coaching other programs and also was heavily involved with U.S. volleyball in the past. Overall record as a head coach, 16 wins and 43 defeats. Summit League record once again, 1-15. Now, the last time ORU had a winning season was in 2021. They went 11-7 in Summit League action, 18-11 overall. 2022, they fell to 6-12 in Summit League play. 2023, 1-15. 2024, 2-14. 2025, 1-15. So it doesn't always turn in a hurry. Programs go through good cycles and bad cycles, and Oral Roberts, unfortunately, going through a tough cycle here of late with just 4 wins in Summit League play over the last 3 years and just 10-75 overall during that stretch. Now, NCAA tournament appearances, none of the last 5 years, and my graphic once again is just the last 5 years, but historically, Oral Roberts has been a very stable and successful program. They actually have the last tournament win for a Summit League team. That occurred in 1997 when the Golden Eagles set a whole bunch of records in the late 90s, early 2000s with a very, very successful run. Now, it isn't a complete control-alt-delete restart this season. They do return an award winner. That second teamer, Cortnee Smith. She's an outside hitter, right side player. They didn't lose any award winners. However, the percentage of points returning and sets played, well, they're at UND-type levels near the bottom for experience coming back. Only 25% of their points return and just 21% of their sets played return this season. Looking at the roster grid here, only 3 players on the left-hand side with numbers from a year ago. That's it. They only have 3 players returning from last season. Unfortunately, on the right side, they lost 12 players, which included 5 freshmen and 2 sophomores. They did add 13, so they have a 16-player roster going into this season. So now let's look position group by position group to see where things sit. We'll start at DSL, where they lost some experience here. They lose Sophie Johnson, 95 sets played and 15 starts from a year ago. They also lost Julia Carr with 95 sets played. They do return Mackenzie Murphy, a 5'6 sophomore from Rockland, California. She played 74 sets last year, had 1.07 digs per set. They add their first of a couple transfers from Eastern Washington. It's Olivia Burns, a 5'4 sophomore from Crum, Texas. She played 69 sets for the Eagles last year, 1.61 digs per set. They also add Ashlyn A. I'm bad at pronouncing names. 5'5 freshman out of Illinois, number 35 at her position, number 196 overall in the Illinois class of 2026. So that's the DSL position. They lose 2, they add 2, they return 1. Next up, we go to middle blocker, where they lose a lot of experience again on the left-hand side. Jenna, 95 sets played, 28 starts last year. They also lose 84 sets played, 25 starts. They lose 12 sets. That's all on the left-hand side of the screen. They return no one at middle blocker. That's not good. The cupboard was bare, but they do add 5. Just need to hit on a couple, of course, and it starts with a good one. Kylie Remenja, a 6'1 freshman out of Columbia, South Carolina. VB Adrenaline Elite Orange Recruit. 118-inch block touch, 122-inch approach touch. So once again, she charts out near the top of the charts when it comes to Summit League incoming recruits. So really excited to see what Kylie Remenja can do this season for the Golden Eagles, the 6'1 freshman. I'll have her circled to be watching her closely. They also add Quincey McCoy, a 5'9 sophomore from Aurora, Colorado. She is the second of the transfers from Eastern Washington. She played in 63 sets last season, 1.35 points per set. They also add Tarcy Mayah, a 5'11 junior out of Katy, Texas. She's a transfer from Chicago State. played 44 sets a year ago, 0.75 points per set. They also add Jaya Tarver, a 5'10 sophomore from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. She's a transfer from Oklahoma Christian University. She played in 13 sets and had a 292 hitting percentage a year ago. And last but not least on the category, they add Molly Falcons, a 6'1 sophomore out of Spring, Texas. So some height there, 6'1, 6'1. We'll see if they're in the rotation, but 5 different middle blockers on the roster have been listed. So we'll once again see who comes to the surface here during fall camp, gets coached up, and earns that playing time. Next up, we go to outside hitter and outside right side, where in the loss category, they lost a ton of production. Hayden Hart, 86 sets played, 23 starts, 235.5 points. She, of course, transferred to Omaha. They also lost Hope Hickman, 76 sets played a year ago, 21 starts, 188.5 points. They lose Susie, 92 sets played, 16 starts, 141 points. They also lose Mallory, 16 sets played. In this category, this is where they do return their second team All-Summit. Cortnee Smith, 5'10 junior out of Miami, Florida. She played in 69 sets a year ago, 3.03 kills per set, 1.45 digs per set. So you can see how good she was in Summit League play for a team that went just 1-15 in league action to get a second teamer on the All-Summit team. That tells you Cortnee Smith has a ton of talent, and they should be very, very excited to have her back. They also have Elsie D back, 6' junior out of Trumbull, Connecticut. 61 sets played a year ago, 1.36 points per set. Yeah, I don't think I can get these names right enough. Next up, we go to the added category where the Golden Eagles add 4. Cunningham, a 5'11 freshman out of Edwardsville, Illinois. Easy for me to say. Number 2 at the position, number 29 in the Illinois class of 2026. So high upside there, you would think. Then they also add a transfer from UT Martin, Sienna W., 5'11 sophomore out of Navarre, Florida. She played in 32 sets a season ago, had 1.56 points per set at UT Martin. They also add Libby Ryan, a 6' freshman out of Evansville, Indiana, number 18 at the position, number 42 overall in the Indiana class of 2026. Then they also add another transfer, Anna S., a 6'2 freshman out of Serbia. She's a transfer from Middle Tennessee. She did not play in 2025. So once again, you lose 3 that had a ton of production. You return Cortnee Smith. You have another experienced player returning, and then you have 4. That's what you have. You have 4, and you're trying to hit on probably 3 of them to get your production to where it was last season and take a step forward. With 3 of those being freshmen, they may have high upside. You got the transfer from UT Martin. We'll see how it plays out and who earns that playing time as they go through fall camp. Next up, let's go to setter, where they lose, well, all of their assists, basically. Farah, 60 sets played. 295 assists a year ago. Rachel Resta, 41 sets played, 237 assists a year ago. Addison Barber, 15 sets played, 23 assists from a season ago. Returning at setter, no one. It's empty. It's bare. But they did add a really good one. It is Anna Apple, a 5'9 freshman from Tulsa, Oklahoma, number 2 at her position, number 9 overall in the Oklahoma class of 2026. And then they add Ava Ewald, a 5'9 graduate senior from Tulsa, Oklahoma. She's a transfer from Liberty, and based on my research, she played beach volleyball at Liberty. So that's the 2 setters that it appears they'll have on the roster. Anna and Ava, and Anna being the number 9 overall player in the Oklahoma class of 2026. I am presuming she is likely going to be the heir apparent at setter for Oral Roberts, but we'll see how it works out between Anna and Ava as they battle here during camp. Let's see. That's it. That's the entire roster there for Oral Roberts. So once again, it is a rebuild, and rebuilds are not always a straight path, right? And we saw that even with St. Thomas. There are some challenges when you go through a rebuild, and this is year number 2. it's a process. And I think the goal here for Oral Roberts is to take incremental steps. You improve the win total, you build that foundation. You had one player on the award winner last year. You get a couple there this year, including maybe get someone on that all freshman team. You start to build some momentum for the program. And that's what Coach Albrecht is known for, recruiting. And then he has also brought in a couple good assistant coaches. You have Carl France, a veteran head coach. He was most recently the men's coach at Fairleigh Dickinson, which I kind of laugh at because both the men's and the women's coach from Fairleigh Dickinson last year are now in the Summit League. Coach David Wynn, of course, came from Fairleigh Dickinson. He was the women's coach, and Coach France came from the men's side, and he'll be on this staff. And then ORU just recently, this past week, announced a very high-level player from Stephen F. Austin of the past joined this staff as well. So excited to see what the new staff can do and how they can coach them up and see what they can do with another incoming group of freshmen and transfers. Looking at the non-conference schedule, the average Massey rank is a 265 this upcoming year. Oral Roberts had a Massey rank of 314 last year. They're going to start with some winnable matches right away. They're going to be in Louisiana to take on Nicholls State, Stonehill, and New Orleans. So that's how they'll start their schedule. Then they're going to go to Spokane, Washington to take on the host school, Eastern Washington, Gonzaga, and Cal State Fullerton. Then they'll come home for 3. They'll be a battle against their rival in town. That's Tulsa. And then they'll play a pair against Abilene Christian on back-to-back days before wrapping up the non-conference in Lake Charles, Louisiana, taking on Grambling State and McNeese State. So looking at that, they're going to play 5 opponents that were 300 or higher last year in the Massey numbers. So there are definitely going to be some winnable matches, and that's not to say they can't take a step forward and beat some of these two teams in the 200s from a year ago. Their toughest one, they do face one top 100 team in Tulsa, where if they pulled that off, all the Summit would be very happy because that would really help the computer numbers. But I think ORU here can take a step forward this year. It is year 2 of the rebuild. It doesn't happen overnight, and hopefully get a couple wins early, gain some confidence, and then things can start to domino for you and move in a good direction. But this will be a wild card team, similar to UND. Not a lot of returning talent, not a lot of returning players. So if they can, hit big on some players, they could make a big step forward, and we'll see how it goes this year in Tulsa with year number 2. Before we wrap here, don't forget, join volleytalk.proboards.com. Keep the Summit League on the national radar. And then also make sure you check out Midco Sports Plus. They normally drop all of the coaches' interviews along with one elite athlete from each program. That normally drops the week leading up to the games. I'm hoping the coaches poll and those interviews come out this week on Midco Sports Plus. But keep an eye out for that. Tremendous content last year and great interviews with both the head coaches and the players. So I'm looking forward to watching those myself. But until we meet again, everyone, the Summit League, we want to see a couple things. We want to win some volleyball games. We want to have 3 consecutive years with an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. We want to win a doggone match in December for the first time since '97. So go Summit League. Have a great day.